when war broke out, I went down and enlisted in the Marines. Also another fellow by the name of Joe Lenahan. We both went down to enlist. They kept him and they turned me down. So I got in the Army. He stayed in for 20 years and he passed away about 12 years ago. I got into the observation battalion, 285th Field Artillery Observation Battalion, flash and sound ranging. In flash ranging, they have a fight for high spots, and they have an instrument which is known as azimuth instrument, and it's 360 degrees in the circle. Grid lines are on the map, and that's where they're placed. You have about 4 or 5 observation posts, and they're connected to command posts. They see a German, maybe a tank that's camouflage or something, that they can get 2 posts on the 2 observation posts. They call in their number, and there's a line drawn out, and where the intersection is, that's where the tank is or whatever they're observing. In sound ranging, there's a microphone put into a rubber boot, and there's a hole dug, and like a manhole cover, it's hooked onto like a manhole cover, and it's just sitting in there in that airspace. There's a line drawn to that and to the command post. I think there's about 5 or 6 microphones, about 7/8 of a mile apart. And then there's a forward observer out ahead of the microphones. If you see there's a line also laid to each one of the microphones back to the command post. And this forward observer, if he sees a flash or hears a shell going over, he presses a button which starts the setup at the command post. And there's a film that comes out, I guess it's about 3 inches wide. And there's a line for each one of the microphones. Sound travels like so. If it hits 2, it hits 3, and then 1 and 4. That's how sound travels. They can plot it on a plotting board. The bigger the break on a film, the bigger the gun. And they can plot on the board where that gun is. So that was what our outfit is. Some experiences. We're in a Hurricane Forest, also with the 28th Division there. I don't know if there's any 28th Division fellows here now. And I remember going in there at night about 4:30. It was just getting dark, and in the forest, if there's a gully, these needles make it even, and you don't know if you're in a gully or not. So I dug in, and I thought I was pretty good, but it rained that night. I was in the gully, and I got wet. But also, there was as we passed, there was a cow back there about a half a mile, so we would like to get something to eat. So that morning, we went back and shot the cow through the head there, and we couldn't get him. We had a weapons carrier and couldn't get him on. So what we did, we drug him to a hole, drug the weapons carrier to the hole, and we pulled him on. And that's how we got him. We hooked him up. There was some fellas that I knew in the 28th Division, and Pete Finley was one of them. And here he comes marching down the road, and out in the thing, he only lived about 2 blocks away from me. And so I gave him a steak. Some experiences in there. When we were in there, just zeroed in a crossroad, and the Germans, that was about 7:30 in the morning. That morning, the Germans start infantry coming down the road, and it was already just zeroed in. And they laid down a barrage, and the medics, German medics, came around, taking them away all the way up to about 4 or 5 o'clock that night. And it didn't do no more firing, that was it. Another experience I had in the Hurricane, we give a lot of information. That information we give back sometimes they're not fired on, like tanks or something, camouflage. The Germans think they're camouflage. And then all of a sudden they got us to move back for about a mile. We went back a mile, and the Air Force came over, they bombed. Then after they bombed, then the artillery opened up and they fired. And the guy could be next to me and he couldn't even hear me speak. And the ground just shook. It was some experience. And after that, the infantry takes off. And then we got up there. When we got up there, it was Germans. There must have been about 50 Germans just scattered around. I don't know how the hell they were so close. And our thing, where they always say disperse. I don't know how they got, man, it was 50. How they took them away, they have two German prisoners with a cot like, and they put them on in a 2.5-ton truck and they just throwed them up like they're wood. And that's how they take them back. Then we were in Germany, Shevenhood, Germany. Got orders to, we were in the 1st Army. We got orders to go to the 3rd Army, Patton's Army. And in the route, that's when we got caught. We were with a tank column. They were interwoven with us, going to Malmedy. And they took one road, we took the other road. And Germans were waiting for us there. So we got captured and put us in they took anything of value, cigarettes, watch, rings, anything. They put us in a field, and I think there was something like 90-some half-tracks and tanks that passed that fired into the group. And laid there. I guess they captured us around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess it was about 4 o'clock when finally someone hollered, "Let's go," and whoever was living just got up and ran. There was a few of us, and some went into a house which they burnt down, and I just kept going and hit a railroad. And along the way in the railroad, I figured we'd come to a town. So on the way in, I met 3 other fellas, one from our outfit, Matara, and a medic. They were all shot, everyone was shot. And we came right into Malmedy, which was 2.5 miles away. After that, we regrouped. We went back, I think it was February when we went back into action. Our job was we crossed the Rhine there. We're making that bridgehead, and we went on the pontoon bridge over there, across the Rhine, and we had the job of cleaning the Germans up in that area. Of course, we were moving, observation battalion, the only good one that's stationary. We were moving 15, 20 miles a day. We had a flatbed truck. We were putting the Germans on there, and we had 3 of them filled, and we wanted to get some more on. So we had the trucks go down the road a little and jam on the brakes, and they didn't move up. We asked them to move up, and they wouldn't. And that's how we got the rest of them on. Then we went, I think we ended up just south of Berlin, around Czechoslovakia, in that area. That's about it, I guess. Any questions?
What outfit did you say you were in?
Pardon?
What outfit were you in?
What unit I was in? 285th Field Artillery Observation Battalion. We had nothing to do with field artillery, just telling what to fire on. Observation Battalion, they had the 2nd Observation Battalion when they had the invasion of France, southern France. They worked with the Navy, and they gave them the coordinates of what to fire at on the southern France there.
Okay. Ted, let me ask, you didn't mention it. Your outfit got hit at Malmedy on December the 16th,
17th, yeah.
or the 17th. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, my outfit was around St. Louis. We were combat engineers.
Mhm.
This is the only time we actually fixed bayonets, because the way they described the enemy. Now, we then were told that a field artillery outfit, the 240th or something like that, you had about 90 men. You were all lined up, machine gun, and all shot. Now, we were then told there were no survivors, and our captain gave orders, take a prisoner, drill him, take him out in the back. And this is what I can remember of the Malmedy massacre. Am I correct?
That's it, the Malmedy Massacre.
Well, are you referring to what he said that the,
Yes, that's,
yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Now, excuse me, now, at our meeting, you told me you were shot, is that correct?
yes.
And you're the only survivor that I ever heard of.
Now, there's about, I think still about 1, 2 living yet,
There were
besides
one or-
myself.
See,
Yeah,
We were told by
We used to have,
upper command, you know, right?
we had reunions every year up until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And there was not many of us left and getting old and couldn't travel a lot.
No,
so-
we only felt sorry for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Survivors? Oh, it's all different.
I
See,
don't know if that was a
some of them were actually in the massacre. The ones that were ahead there, about 100 yards, had a chance to get away into the woods. And the ones that in the back got captured, and they searched us and took everything. But some of them got away before the massacre happened. So if you want to count them and all, I guess there's about 15, you know. But actually the massacre, I think there's only about 5 or 6. I think I got away. I was in the front row, and when they would come around, naturally, where would you shoot at? You'd shoot at the center of the group. And that's what my theory is, that I probably got away. And they weren't firing at the front guys, mostly in the center, so they wouldn't miss anybody.
How many were originally captured?
Well,
And
there-
how many in your group also?
Well, even, there was 2 trucks before they got sick in Malmedy, and they never got down to the massacre neither. So they were saved. And also, there was a advance party that left that was supposed to direct us on the roads of where to go, you know, from the 1st Army to the 3rd Army. So, but right there was something like 78 killed right at Malmedy there. And we had 150 in our outfit, so.
On the 17th of December, our outfit was cut off at Schoenberg, which was after our first position. But when word came around about the massacre, the word got out, don't want to sound like heroic, but it was like, save 1 round for yourself. If you go down, you go this way. And I think it firmed the resolve of a lot of us who were left, that, you know, this is not going to happen to us again in terms of getting surrounded that way. So it really strengthened, I mean, our guys, because everybody, it was so vivid a memory. Plus, the guy who was in charge of the German outfit, Pfeiffer, was then convicted of war crimes in a war crimes trial and was hanged eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the citizens did that. They burned his house. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I was back 08, and I cut the ribbon to a museum there and laid a wreath where the massacre happened. That was 08, December, what we was.
we went back, my wife and I went back to the original place, the original spot where we were, and we found, I'm sorry, my wife and I went back a number of years ago to retrace our steps, and they found a beautiful memorial to the Malmedy Massacre with all the names of the people who were shot. It was really,
Yeah.
that the Belgian people had put up, yeah.
Well, there was original, they had a big stone, oh, I don't know, I guess about 3 or 4 foot each way, and it had the markings on it. That was right after the massacre. There was a big stone there, right where it happened. But that their memorial they have is across the street from where the massacre happened. That was not where the massacre happened.
Oh, okay, this was at, I remember at a crossroads.
Yeah. It's like a point there where it kind of, but that's where the memorial is, but across the street is where the massacre happened, yeah.
Over here. I don't like to take my history for the movies, but the movie Battle of the Bulge,
Oh, yeah, they,
how was that displayed, and how did you feel when you saw
Well,
that scene?
nothing like it would happen now. They have nothing. No, I saw about 3 versions of it, and nothing like it, no. They, as we were laying there, that was their front line. They had 3 or 4 SS troopers stationed there in the house, and they came around, and anyone that was moaning, they shot. And then when they said, let's go, when I got up and ran, and they come out of the house, one guy, German SS trooper, and he took a couple shots at me. And then there was a little dirt road, and I ran down that, and it was a cut in a hedgerow, and I just stove in there, and I had some blood. I got hit on the hand, I had some blood, and he came down. He never got in the hedgerow. He just looked and went back, and I saw him getting the water out of the pump. He was pumping the water out, and I just laid there and watched him. So that was so many experiences.
I'm reading from a text here. It says, on the second day of fighting, a chilling expose took place when 84 surrendered American POWs were herded into a field at Benzat, crossroads near Malmedy, Belgium, and executed by a machine gun, called the Malmedy Massacre. The incident enraged the American public opinion, stiffened the resolve of the American troops, and reinforced the popular image of Nazis and Germans as subhuman.
I couldn't hear all of your,
When we say
84 men were killed.
oh, the 84 it said in there? That could have been right. They made count at the ones that got out. I saw guys come in with shot across the stomach, both arms, both legs, and blood just come out of his mouth as if you turned a spigot on. Saw a guy come in with toes off and walk 2.5 miles. It's amazing how. So yeah, I think there was 78 there. It could have been 84. You know, later people passing away. You know.
You mentioned you were at Remagen. Were you reactivated? Your outfit? Because I happen to be at Remagen. We put up the bridge on March the 10th.
Yeah, we went back and we got replacements.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we got some from A battery. See, A and B battery are the observing batteries. Headquarters is the administrative batteries. And A battery could be with the 1st Army, and B battery could be with the 3rd Army. It's wherever you're needed. Yeah, so we got some replacements from A battery, and then we got some new ones from other outfits come in, and then we went back into operation. There wasn't much after that when we went back in February. Like I said, we crossed the Rhine and had that job, and then we just moved. It was nothing then. It was just moving 10, 15, 20 miles a day all the way into Berlin, close to Berlin. And then while we were there, just south of Berlin, we got up, one guy got up pretty high and saw some flags, white flags out in some of the little town there. So we decided to go and see what was happening. So there's 4 of us went in the weapons carrier and we went through the Russian lines. And they called us Joe. They said, "Hiya, Joe." I don't know where they got that name. So I guess G.I. Joe, I don't know. And we waved to them and went through and went into town and got everything. Got guns and flags and everything and looted the whole place. And we came back through their lines and come where we were at. Yeah.
Plenty of bucks.
I had heard rumors over the years that the Malmedy massacre was supposed to be in reprisal for something that happened in World War I against the Germans. And the people that were there, were they all from your unit? Or were they from various other combat units? The way I heard this rumor was that the people at Malmedy were all from a particular unit, that unit back in World War I had made the Germans not too happy.
I don't know if they had any observation battalions in World War I.
Yeah, that's what doesn't make any sense. You know, why would they, have a thing out for? But you know, is there anything at all to this? I'm saying it's a rumor that I've heard
just
several
happened.
times.
We were there and they were there. I guess that was it.
And the other thing is,
They did take a couple of our guys prisoners, though. They got them to drive trucks. I think 2 of them.
And the other thing is, God was really looking out for you. What was the extent of your wounds?
Just a hand scrape. I was lucky.
Really blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the surface wound. The surface.
Were any of the men, did you manage to get any of the loot home?
Yeah.
Did you get some home? I heard all different stories of how it was.
I got around 8 big flags. I guess there were 6 by 8. I gave about 7 or 8 of them away. I think I got 1 left. I got a Mauser yet. A couple other small little items.
Did you testify at the trial of?
No. No, that was only if someone recognized. I saw, we saw Piper, saw him in person. He could speak pretty good English, better than I maybe. Right, I guess it was in June, right after the war. They gathered them and some other prisoners, and we went down and tell him to turn, and boy, he'd snap his heels together, and he could speak English. And he was about 6'2", 6'3", tall man. He was a regular Army guy. He was regular Army. We saw a couple. Now there's a guy, Parker, writing a book, and then he went over. I guess maybe 10 years ago, they had reunions like we did. And the first time they didn't say much to him, but he insisted. He went back another time, and some of them opened up. He's writing a book now. He's been writing it for about 10 years.
You mentioned the 1st Army and the 3rd Army. Now, were they part of the 20th Corps? Were they part of the 20th Corps?
20th Corps.
The Army had a corps that was in charge of the different outfits. There was a 20th Corps, which I think Bradley was in charge of. I'm not sure about that.
No, that was an Army group. Bradley had an Army group.
Are you familiar with the corps?
Well, yeah, we wherever we need it, like I said.
No. By the corps, it's like a big service unit, and you have a corps that has representatives, 3rd Army, 1st Army, and whoever, the Army, different corps would be in different areas. What I'm trying to do is say, put it on the map. 1st Army is going this way, 3rd Army is going that way, and they are part of 20th Corps.
Well, I guess they could be. I don't know.
Anybody familiar with the Corps?
Yeah, 3 corps doing Army Corps.
Yeah.
My outfit, we were part of 7th Corps.
What corps I was in, I don't know. Well, I know I was in a certain army, that was
If
it.
you were connected with both armies, the 3rd Army and the 1st Army.
I wasn't connected. We were going from the 1st Army to the 3rd Army. It was, now, I don't know if the corps were mixed in there. I wasn't interested in corps, just army.
Well, the big boys are in charge. They give general, what they do is give general orders. And that's how they're placed right from the get-go.
Yeah, well, at Christmas Day, I got an interview with the intelligence, and I was 3 countries, Belgium, Holland, Luxembourg, in that area. And they have a room, well, about half of this size, from here over. Not even that big. I guess 9 by 12 room, probably. And they have a big map on the wall. And there's no windows, and there's guards on each side of the door. And I got in, they let me in, and they had these little pennants of wear outfit. I was interested in the 28th Division because I knew the guys there. So I saw where they were at that time. I saw the pennant of the 28th, and they have them all over. You know, what outfit, you know where each outfit is. That was the intelligence unit there.
Off the subject, you know, just to give you some information, when we were making the invasion in Normandy, we were given compasses. This is just a little story. The compass was so small that, I hope the ladies don't mind if I mention what it was. And the guy said, "Is that an asshole compass?"
I know when the airborne, when they landed, they had these crickets, so they know where each other were
The
at.
Germans had a cricket too.
Any other questions for Ted? All right. Thank you for coming today, Ted. You're welcome to talk to Ted after the program offline as well. A couple quick announcements. Just for